Good morning. This is Pixie doing another video. So, my thoughts this morning, it's very interesting actually, because last night I was thinking about maths and my brain was running these simulations because I got some test turning up. It's like a work thing. You know, in order to pass this course, you must do this. You must do this in maths. Functional skills. And it's not too bad. It's not that the maths questions are really hard. It's the problem I'm encountering is that the time running out, and maybe I did balls up a few of them. I mean, I would have got there eventually. It's just I put something down, and then afterwards, after the test, I thought that didn't seem quite right. So it's interesting that this stuff that goes on when you go to sleep, how much your brain can work for things, and also how much your mind uses pictures. Now, some people see in pictures, some people can just see words, and it's completely different. And some people are more pictures than others. It's a bit like I was walking around in a computer game simulation in my head, and I'm thinking to myself, I mean, this seems normal to me. Other people, it's like, what? And it could be the same people that are very critical and thinking, if you talk about something and it's very abstract, the reason it has some kind of dissonance about it, where they basically can't agree or they basically can't acknowledge it, is because they don't think that way. I'm not aware of it either. Some people are a bit of both. There's probably other areas of the spectrum that my brain works like. I know it does. Sometimes music plays in my head, so it plays simulations in my head quite easily. And this comes onto something else as well, that some people may be more prone to certain types of experiences because of the layout of their mind. And you also hear about a lot of things to do with abduction, but they could be in the bedroom with their wife. To be honest, somebody's prone to abductions, you could film them 24/7, and you might notice that they're probably asleep and their eyes will be going some hyper REM state or something. And there will be something that would occur that would be a change out of the ordinary when they feel they've been abducted, enough that you could register it in their body. And if you didn't register it in their body, that would be very interesting, because it means they are somehow further outside of their body. And for me, this kind of reality is a simulator, basically. It's a simulation. I mean, sure, it has physical rules and there's consequences to things that go on, but then simulators they don't have to be, have no effect. It's not like walking in a hologram, but it is a kind of hologram, which is, it's not like I can suddenly reset the level or do some sort of things. Maybe there is ways to do things like that, or possibly when people die, they may have the option of not just reincarnation, but maybe rerunning the simulation in a different way. Maybe they might change the variables and see if that makes them a better person. But then the question is what we are. We're some sort of like demigods, and then also where do these animals? I mean, I think collectively an animal, possibly if the species is very similar, that it could be more networked into either some sort of collective consciousness rather than a singular consciousness. But then again, as a human species, I'm not necessarily a singular consciousness. I'm probably shared amongst other beings, and I'm like a server basically. So some of what we've created in our kind of cybernetic cyberverse are reflections of what things can exist or do exist already at some level. It's like we think we've invented something, when actually all we've done is discovered something that might be real. Even the concept of what the all maker, or if there's this is, well, it's not a case of if, because there's things that exist and have been created very accurately and have been improved design. It's not just a random event, because otherwise with evolution it'd be going up and down the chain. There's some people who've got defective genes and so on, but then there'd be whole loads of people all mutating all the time. But there's not really. It's fairly stable, the mutations. But that's because they're driven by consciousness, and there's all this roadworks and stuff. Yeah, I mean, you can alter yourself so much through your consciousness. It seems to switch on certain genes, so it means that also certain bodies are probably more acceptable to your kind of like conscious download into your physical body, and certain changes. I mean, I notice it with babies that a baby, when they're newborn, they're very much they're very much automatic in some way. They're very like drones. There's simple functions they do, and then this consciousness part of them starts. It's like a flame that's starting to ignite within them, and then once it seems to be settled in, then there's a kind of morphosis of the face as well. The face looks more like the mother or the father, and also something else might be seen in there as well. So the character starts to come into the infant, and I noticed that it seems just so strange. In the same kind of eerie way as when something dies, if you go to visit the body later, you can see it just looks like a mould of what the living person used to be. The essence of it is not there, and you can feel it. You can feel that. That's why sometimes it is good to see death if you don't understand it. And the same for animals as well. You know, it's difficult for them to understand, but if something's died, and then maybe if they see that, they can understand it as well. They might think you killed it though, but or they won't know. It's just unknowing. So I think for me, I might after I've got this other qualifications out of the way, like I mentioned that, I might look at things like parapsychology, do some stuff there, and because I think there's probably, you know, basically I don't want to be like, I mean everything should be explored, but I don't want to be sort of supporting things that maybe I need to test in my own mind and figure out. You know, like by people like throw stones around and say, "Oh, are you there?" You know, I mean, of course there's something. There's a probability of something being there, but it's not like a bloody animal or something at the zoo. And I think they need to find a good way to engage something that's spiritual. And like I said, I think a lot of it for us is on the internal side of it. So we're in this simulation. Our actual major consciousness part of us is somewhere else, and it could get infected by other consciousness. And also, if I'm physically somewhere at a certain point in time, my consciousness may be there through different times as well, and so you might actually come across something that was only there at a certain point in time, but is accessible. And it's that kind of doorway that our body operates as a portal, and it's important to know where to sort of open it up and shut it down. There's other things like, why do some teenagers, they seem to have some supernatural experiences and they don't other times? You know, this kind of thing is quite important because their brain chemistry is very much changed, and it's probably allowing them to experience things they wouldn't normally. But if they're attacking themselves, it's not like consciousness attacking them, it's something like a parasite that's infected that host. So it's kind of, I want to explore that side of things, more in the kind of quantum reality holographic universe, and apply some sort of parapsychology, which for para is the outside, or you might say it's border psychology as well, because there's other things like border sciences, and basically to apply some sort of science behind something maybe that's unexplored or is beyond, they'd normally set something, you know, like, I don't know, but has war got memory or something? That might be, you know, an unusual experiment to carry out, but no scientist would say, oh yes, so it'd be a border experiment. Anyway, this has been enough. Have a good one, and speak to you soon. Bye.